This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
G'day, Worm. Going well, mate. How are you?
Yep, going well, mate. How was your punting week?
Punting week was ups and downs. Let's put it that way. We snagged a couple and were very close on a couple. How about yourself?
Yep, pretty much in the same boat. We either ran a place or we went like a busted, but I think Tuvalu was good for us in the trial trackers. Couldn't believe the price when they jumped $6. One well, finally showed what I've been asking for the last 3 or 4 months. He went Skyman in Sydney, which was good.
Yeah, Skyman in Sydney. Very nice. It was convincing too.
Yeah, it was, considering how the track played, and I couldn't believe, how it played. It we should have known from the start, and I didn't find it. But no, you did well.
It was a good one. Unfortunately, Star Patrol, I think, had a few on Friday night. It was running down the centre of the track sideways.
I think he was more drunk than us than what we would be leaving at Flemington on a standard race day, mate. He was pissed as 10 men. It was a frustrating watch from the 600 because you knew what was happening, but you just couldn't let go. And no, I think he went pretty well considering. I think he's a horse to follow maybe in the next segment.
Absolutely. And look, obviously we mentioned both horses. I'm sure there's a few smart punters out there that cornellaed them and came out in front.
Yeah, and even smart punters went against us and went with passive aggressive.
There you go.
Buying shares in this week, which leads us into, you want to start it off, Matty?
Yeah, mate. Look, I think that's a good race to start with. Look, we're going to be seeing a lot more of those two horses. I don't think it'll be the last time they race against each other. So I think both of those deserve a slot within buying shares. Passive aggressive, obviously, got the chocolates on the day. One that we've been on, and Star Patrol again. I think that's a complete forget run, and for a forget run, it wasn't too bad. So both of those two we will be following moving forward. Worm.
Yep, definitely. Unfortunately, we learnt the lesson that it doesn't like a soft 7, so we know that for the spring. Unfortunately, we had to find out the hard way. But yeah, looking forward to seeding on a nice rock hard track at maybe Caulfield during the spring, and he can definitely show what he's been doing because, I think he's a decent horse and passive aggressive. Well, the world's his oyster at the moment. He looks a very nice horse.
How about yourself, Worm? Anything to buy or sell?
I'm going to buy Mystery Shot. Make sure you put this in your black book. Go and watch its last start. It was a poor steer. That's all I can put it down to. Was 7th when they jumped to mid-race, and then on the corner was second last, the widest runner. The bummy was following, took him nowhere. Well, what do you suspect when the horse is 30-1? It's definitely not taking you in the race. Just a poor steer. If this stable make a jockey change for its next start, I think it can win at some very, very nice odds.
No, not a bad one. I've had it in the black book for a while, and it's one that does get out in the market. So definitely one to pop into the black book because it does generally run quite well at a price.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think our buying shares in of late has been going pretty well, if I can blow my own trumpet. Torgerine, it won. There was another one that week that won as well. It split my mind, but we're going for 3 from 3 this week, so look out, punters. Track stats. Interesting day coming ahead at Caulfield. Rail true. 5 to 9 mils of rain predicted Friday. Currently a soft 6. I reckon we could be working off a soft 7 or heavy 8. One thing is certain, the rail will be off. So 3 to 4 off will be the place to be. So inside barriers 1, 2, 3 might be poison. Still should favour the leaders being 3, 4 off, or in lanes 4 to 7, or just off pace. But don't be looking for horses with barrier 1 and 2, especially. 3 might be borderline. So definitely watch the weather, but I can be certain we're going to be racing 3 or 4 off the fence.
So, just to expand on that, because Caulfield can throw up a couple of tracks that definitely have some type of bias. So you're saying, obviously, watch and act on the day, but those inside barriers, if you are looking to have a bet, maybe just wait to see what the earlier races are doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I will lead into this with race 1, and I'll give it away now. For some reason, they will use the rail in the first race just to test what it's like, and then the horse will win in lane 4 and 7, and they'll slowly just start to edge off later in the day. Yeah, I don't know why they do it. It's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just, yeah.
So in the running, still look for horses forward in the field, but potentially maybe 1 or 2 back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just that lane 4, definitely. Yeah, lane 3 is just that borderline. You'll just see it. The leaders will be your guide when they're cornering. They will show you where the good spots are. It's a pity Craig Williams isn't riding, because he's the best at finding where he goes from race 1 to 2, and he can normally tell you where the good spots are. Ollie's not riding either, so it's definitely, we're going to have to use our brains as punters and bet on the go. But yeah, I'm pretty certain it just, whatever conditions, anything from soft 6 onwards, they just, somehow come off the fence.
That's good advice.
Yeah, hopefully I'm right, though. That's the main thing, and not hard up on the rail.
Look, a little bit like superannuation. You can only go by past results, and that is what we consistently see, Caulfield.
Yeah, definitely. So fingers crossed I've got it right. Trial trackers this week. I've got 2 this week. I couldn't split them. I ummed and ahed, so we've gone with 2. Race 3, number 13, Terra Mia, had 1 jump out at Tatura over the 850 metres. Was under a medium riding and hit the line hard to win it. 3rd was Asar, who's been running in big races in Adelaide. Has good 1,000-metre form for Saturday. 21s and 5s. It's absolutely crazy odds. Make sure you have like a 1/3 bet on it, or 0.25 of unit by 0.75 of a unit on the place. This horse won't disappoint you at those odds. It just needs to, if it can bring that trial to the races, I think it's a genuine chance in a very, very even race. Second one is race 9, number 9, Mayfair Spirit. Had 3 jump outs for its first up assignment. All 3 have been really good. I think the conditions in soft or heavy will suit. A lot of experts say, and I do respect a lot of them when they say it, the internationals improve off their second prep. So if that's the case, we might be on a good bet here at around 10s and $3 the place. I think you can have, again, 1/3 or 0.25 and 0.75 to play on race 9, number 9, Mayfair Spirit. We'll kick over to, yep, that's all right. We'll kick it over to race 1 here. I'll start things off. Race 1, give us 2 secs. Okay. I've just got to get the odds up here. I'm a bit, for some reason.
You want me to run through them, William?
No, I got them. Just my computer didn't load on this one.
That's all right.
Just need a bit of Jeopardy music and we'll be right. All right. So we got number 2 here, Unusual Culture, $3.20. Number 1, She's All Class, $3.60. Number 4, Chain of Lightning, $4. Number 6, Swerving, $7. And $12 plus the rest. Interesting race, this one. For race 1, I reckon it's an actual really good race to kick things off here. Happy to back number 2 here. Unusual Culture had one jump out at Horsham and sat wide and won well. If it brings its good New Zealand form over, can see. If it brings its form over, I can see why this will be winning. The ownership bought into this after start 1. You must respect this ownership because they do have a good buyer in their books. Its start 1 was a great win. I was really impressed by it. Then start 2 and 3 were good without winning, but it ran into a Group 1 New Zealand Oaks winner in Bella on Rouge. At start 3, that reads really good, I feel. 1,200 metres, not ideal, but I think it has some talent to get it over the line. Perfect barrier to sit no worse than midfield, sit in the lanes that I identified. That were lanes 4 and 7 will be the perfect spot because race 1, a lot of jockeys will just use that rail to find out what it's like. For some reason, they do this every time in these conditions. So I'm happy to be with number 2 here, Unusual Culture. Of the other runners, I have a huge opinion of number 1, She's All Class, but I'm just really confused what happened in the spring. Was it too far back in running? Was it in season? Did it hate going the Sydney way and want the Melbourne way now? I wish I knew because going off its jump outs, it tells me it's going well. So the market might be your best guide, but there is no knock on this horse. We are a punting show and I like to only have one bet per race. But if you like She's All Class, I'm not going to talk you out of it because it can win. Number 4 here, Chain of Lightning. Currently $4 with Inverell and Armadale form. That can't be right. They were nice wins, but seriously, $4. I think they have marked this horse too well with the Moody polish. I thought 7 was the right price. Might be stuck on the quicksand. Jump outs were nice, but they were on the synthetic. If the price holds up, I'll be hitting Betfair and laying the absolute crap out of this because I don't think this form is good enough for the top 2. But happy to be with number 2 here, Unusual Culture, and that New Zealand form here, and can't wait to see what talent this horse has. Matty.
I think you've already answered one of my questions. I was going to see which Moody horse they were going to come for.
Personally, I think they might come for number 5 here, Alberetta, but Ballarat Synthetic is probably not the right form for this. It's currently around $26. I marked it $12. So there might be a little move for that. But yeah, Chain of Lightning, $3.90. I marked it around the 7s. So I think there's some room for move for that horse. I just don't know how, as I said, Armadale and Inverell form is worth a $3.90 price, considering She's All Class was in a golden slipper before it pulled out, and Unusual Culture has New Zealand Oaks form.
No, it's a very good call. And what do you think Mark Eustace thinking with McNeil and Linda Meach, the 2 jockeys? Obviously, Unusual Culture, your tip with Linda Meach on board, but She's All Class with Jai.
Yeah, it's interesting. The only thing I can put this down to is She's All Class would have been held at Cranbourne. So he would have been riding it down there in its jump outs. I couldn't see who was riding it, so it doesn't help me. But then Unusual Culture, as I said, was a jump out at Horsham. And Linda is out that way. So maybe that's the thing I can only put it down to is he's ridden it in track work and he's happy enough without seeing Unusual Culture.
It's always good to know.
Yeah, I hope I'm right with Unusual Culture, but yeah, it wouldn't shock me if She's All Class. But confident enough, Unusual Culture will be in front of She's All Class in the running, and I reckon it's got a better turn of foot.
Okay, get us off to a good start.
Yep, before midday. I like winners before midday, other than New Zealand. Race 6, Matty, you want to have a look?
Yeah, mate, we'll have a look at race 6. Have you got the odds loaded in front of you?
I certainly do this time. We've got the favourite here, Inundation at $2.40, probably butchered it. Number 4, Squid Game, $3.90. Number 1, Starry Legend, $7. 3, Lloyd's Crown, $10, and $12 plus the rest.
Perfect. Thank you, Worm. And like your odds, realistically, it's not a deep field. Even though we have got 16 runners, 2 scratch-ins, not really much depth within this. The market does seem to, or the early market does seem to have this fairly spot on. But Worm, do wait to the end because there is one that we're going to have a little nibble at odds. But where we've landed, the 3 that I'm going to run through here, Squid Game, look at drop back to last in passive aggressive's race. Didn't get going until about the 200. Looked like it was just out for a bit of a stroll and really flew home across that last 200 and has got some serious pace. But honestly, I don't know what they're thinking, dropping it back to 1,000 metres. It's an 1,100, 1,200 metre horse. So really not too sure what they're doing dropping this one back. And with an apprentice on board, it's going to get back. And for that reason, $4 or even less doesn't really attract me to Squid Game. So I think it's one that's, I can see why people will be attracted to it based on its last run, but it's one that I'm going to be passing on this start, Worm. That leaves me with 2 horses with some serious pace across 1,000 metres, Starry Legend and Inundation. So these 2 are the ones that I feel like are going to be at the front of the field. I hope they don't take each other on. I do feel like Starry Legend is going to be leading them. John McNeil on Inundation will be dropping back and taking the sit. I hope that's how it plays out. Starry Legend is a 1,000 metre specialist. 3 weeks ago, it ran a cracking race came second to Ashford Street, but when young Liam set a really cracking tempo. So, look, if there is any bias towards the leaders within this race, I know you've mentioned the rail, but if there is any bias towards leaders within this race, Starry Legend, I can definitely see winning. But Worm, the one that I do have on top is Inundation. So, look, impressive to say the least. It'll probably, as I said, sit behind Starry Legend here. And then over the 1,000 metres, it does have pace to burn. And I do like Jai McNeil being back on board this horse. So 2 wins from its last 2 starts, and I can see it making 3 from 3. So it's around that $2.50 mark. I can see this being a decent bet. So I'm going to have Inundation on top. Look, you could definitely have something on Starry Legend and still win with those 2 bets. But Worm, the one that I do want to ask you about is right down the bottom, trained by Benny Hayes, Tallaway. Has that one had any trials at all?
It had 3 jump outs. I marked them as a B, so they're not the best, but they're not the worst, but they're ticking over nicely for their next start.
All right, so at $100, and that's just on TAB, I think that is worth a nibble. If you can get 1 out of 20 of these, now I'm just talking just 1 out of 20, so something quite small, whether it be your 5, your 10, your 20, whatever it might be, but whatever you're comfortable, only winning 1 in 20, tell away at 100s and wait till the Betfair markets come up tomorrow. I'm pretty confident that you'll get higher than that. It's definitely worth something very small.
100 to 1.
100 to 1 on TAB at the moment. And look, if you have $5 on it, you'd be pretty happy with a $500 return.
I don't reckon it starts anywhere near 100. I reckon it should start around the 40. So I reckon take a piece of it now before jumping.
Yep, I don't disagree. In my markets, I'd it closer to 30s. Just as based on your feedback with those jump outs.
Right. Starry Legend, I can see why you like it. It's a 3-year-old and it's been racing in open grade. Can see why it's lumped the 60.5, which down to 59. But back to its own age group. So that's got to be better for it. So that's definitely why $7 is just stupid, I reckon, at the moment. Squid Game, you made a really good point. 1,200, 1,100, 1,000. A back marker at Caulfield. Michaela Lawrence on. Mate, it's really, really good points. I'm going to be ballsy and I reckon it can win. But, geez, she's just got to hold on and do the right thing. And the planets have got to all align. And Michaela Lawrence, look at me and just hold on for dear life, please, because this is a good horse. I'm shocked you've gone with this one, mate.
Yeah, look, if this was over 1,100 or 1,200 metres, Squid Game would have been on top. But as you mentioned, an apprentice being on board, it's going to be at the back of the field. I don't have confidence that she'll get the job done. So it's as simple as that. Inundation has done absolutely nothing wrong. John McNeil jumping back on board at Caulfield. I think there's even more upside there. And as I mentioned, Starry Legend's going to be at the pointy end. Whether the weight is going to be a little too much. It's the one in the field that can run the best time across this distance, and that's why it has been penalised at the weights.
Inundation. Normally, when I see a horse synthetic to city grade, I'll just put a line straight through them and just go get on the pink button at Betfair, bang. You clean up every time. But this horse has done some serious figures on the synthetic that scare me. Barrier 11, tick. Jai McNeil, tick. If you can overcome synthetic to turf, this is the horse that can do it. Yeah, SP's $1.35, $1.22, and I can see why they've marked this 230. I wouldn't surprise if it blows a little bit, just because of that synthetic to city.
I wouldn't be either. I mean, yeah, I think Starry Legend will get some money just based on its numbers. It has to, and I think based on Squid Game's last run against Passive Aggressive, seeing what Passive Aggressive came out and did, I think it'll probably get a little bit of money too. So I can see why you think Inundation will potentially get a little bit softer. It may drift between $2.50 and $3.
Yep, very, very good point. Yeah, good race. It'll be interesting to see if synthetic to turf works out. And if Michaela Lawrence at 51 kg can just hold on.
And make sure you have a little nibble at number 16, Tallaway.
Definitely, because it's not going to be 100-1 very, very shortly. Race 7, I'm going to preview here. The benchmark 84 over 1,200 metres. We've got the favourite here, Blazer Trail, $3. Number 8, Skywolf, $3.80. Number 11, The General, $7. Number 1, Curran, $7. Number 6, Pioneer River, $8.50. And 13 plus the rest. I'm a sucker for punishment here, but I'm going to go with number 1 here, Curran. As a bet, its last 5 starts, it's faced Marabi, In the Boat, Extreme Warrior, and possible Group 1 horse in the making, Triple Missile. Now, if it brings that form to this, then it will be winning. Its only knock is how far back it gets, and it will begin awkwardly. So there's already a few little negatives for us there, but it all depends how badly it jumps awkwardly. If it can jump half clean, sit midfield, they won't be catching this horse. But if it's going to be last, we're going to be coming home with a wet sail. Number 8 here, Sky Wolf, will get the conditions to suit and will be up on speed. But 4th up now on a rain-affected track, it might be just a bit gas. So the last 3 have been on heavy, and if we get another heavy track, I just wonder if it's already had the gut buster. Number 3 here, Blaze a Trail. If this runs, then go to Betfair and lay this as for as much as you want. Jump out was horrible and doesn't like wet conditions. Now with a new stable, let's just hope they don't see the They run it on the heavy track, so we can all jump on Betfair and have a beauty of a time here. But happy to be with here. Number one, Curran, with the 16.5 kilos. I just think he's a class above these. Benchmark 84. He's coming out of listed races. Yeah, and just got to bring that form lines, and he should be winning. Matty.
Just a question on number 5, Zoltan, first up. Decent first up form. Where did you have it?
Yeah, it's had 2 jump outs, no knock. I think one of them absolutely no knock. I just think 1200's not going to be suited. He's definitely going to be one second or third up. His form reads well with Excelita, Tuvalu, Gentleman Roy. He might be a place bet for anyone that likes a little place bet dabble. Yeah, just barrier 3. Where's he get? He's not going to lead.
Yep.
So
It'll be definitely back.
Yeah, and the price is probably, that's why you're getting a good price.
That's fair. It's probably one to watch and see how it does run. It might be a second or third up, as you mentioned.
Yeah, most definitely. Around the grounds, you want to go to Eagle Farm?
Let's head up to Eagle Farm. So race 7. Now, apologies for those who were on this last week up at Ipswich at $1.70 or $1.65 honey pot. I watched it go around. I wasn't on it personally, but I'm going to be on it this time around at $10. If it won up at Ipswich, it would be favourite for this race. Instead, running second, it's at 10s. So I'm quite comfortable to have a nibble at $10 here, race 7, honey pot. We'll go straight to race 8 here, Worm, at Eagle Farm as well. Startones, I'll probably butchered that one, but at 10s, ran 5th behind Alligator Blood and was quite impressed with that run. And I think it's going to improve here. So another one at $10 that I'll be on board. I think it's going to be exceptionally well suited to this race. And again, you're getting some value within the early markets.
Yeah, 100% agree with Startonte, mate. It was one I went looking for, and when we compared notes, I was quite happy that you put it on top. Trainer wants to bring it to Melbourne for the spring, so that sort of raised my eyebrows that it must be going all right. So, yep, I totally agree with you on that one. I'm going to head to Morfordville. A couple of my friends say it's the easiest punting going to Morfordville, so I'm going to give it a crack here. Race 1, number 1, no drama, currently $2.60. Yeah, ownership bought into this horse from New Zealand off start 1 over 800 metres. Start 1, the jockey never touched it, and it never got out of second gear, won arrogantly. 2 jump outs for this, has won both of them under his own steam. Heavy track won't be an issue and should be winning. Take note, Lindsay Smith has taken a few horses over to Adelaide, and Jared Fry riding them too. So that might be a sign for you punters, anyone in Adelaide. Belmont, race 8, number 7, God Has Spoken. There is no other way to put this, but the horse should have won last start. Had a chance to go to be the widest runner, but the jockey chose to duck and weave and go through the field to only go down by 0.3. Can sit a little bit closer from 7 and should be winning with a better ride. That is race 8, number 7, God Has Spoken, $2. All right. Guys, I just got a little text as we're on the run here. NBA draft. If you were listening to the NBA finals and rated Nick's thoughts, he's come out quickly here with a bet on the number 1 draft pick. He is going with Chet Gren as number 1 pick at $12. I don't know what more to say, but if you like your NBA and you align with what Nick is saying, $12 is a crazy odds. I totally agree. Everything I read is he's going number 1, but he did tell Orlando to go away a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know if they're just playing funny buggers, but or he might be traded after pick 1. So all we want is Chet Holmgren to be pick number 1, and we're kicking Friday off with a bang.
Well, at $12, happy to find out there, Worm. Is that going in the multi?
No, just missed. He was 5th rater. His first emergency if something goes wrong in the next 12 hours.
All right, done.
Multi-time. I'm going to chuck Geelong to beat Richmond. I just feel Richmond have won their games when they shouldn't have. Beat Port Adelaide at the MCG. I think Port should have won if the umpires decided to umpire properly. No bias in that one. And last week they beat Carlton. Carlton's so injury riddled. Touch. They're so injury riddled, and they somehow got over the line. Richmond, at full strength, Carlton smash them. And well, that one that touched. Well, I've seen so many videos of 3 clowns at a pub screaming touched. You know who you are, you Deegans. But yeah, I just think that Richmond are false favourites for this. This is where Geelong start to play good footy. This is where we start to get sucked in again. This is the games they win leading up to September. So $2, I think it's stupid odds, and they will be winning. I'm going to chuck in Adelaide race 1, number 1, no drama to win. And Matty, you're going to chuck in?
We're going to go Inundation for a win, and we're also going to go Startontes for the place.
That comes to $43.
Ooh, tasty.
Well,
I put the number 1 draft pick in there.
Well, I don't want to get 4 legs of ours and Chet goes pick number 2. And knowing our luck of late, we are around the mark. So, punters, this is the week we're going to load up and we're going to start winning it. We're going to take some serious cash off these bookies now. So get on board. That's Geelong Cats to beat Richmond. No drama. Adelaide race 1, number 1. Startontes race 8, the place. And Inundation race 6, the win. $43. It's going to be winning. Pineapple of the week. Now, I've I reckon I've changed 3 or 4 times. But I've landed on race 5, number 1, Chief Altoni. We've made this a black booker from last week. We're going to go again here. Just been getting too far back in his races, and he's been hitting the line hard. Visionary form from last start reads well, and then Tuvalu 2 back reads well again. They both Quinella the winter heat last Saturday. Barrier 5 now can sit midfield, and conditions should suit. I think it's around the 2. Just bringing it up here, written it down. $2.90. I think it might start a bit shorter. There's a lot of horses either first up or just not going as well for a benchmark 78. Tommy Stockdale, just put him in a nice position, peel out with 300 to go, and we will be saluting. Anything else to add, Matty?
No, mate, except probably got a couple in the running double there. Got Chief into a few. We'll just go Inundation.
There we go. We can play a few running doubles, as Matty said. That'd be a nice way to kick off a Saturday. Yeah. Anything else to add, Matty? No.
No, mate, that is it. A very good weekend worth of racing, especially up at Eagle Farm. So looking forward to that. Yeah,
we're not far away from the spring. So thanks again, Matty, for joining us. We're confident this week, punters. We might be divided in race 6, but we're going to get plenty of winners. We're going to fill your pockets up. More importantly, I hope you fill your own pockets up. We always like to sign off with our favourite man. He's joined us again for his words of wisdom for us. So have a great weekend all, and hope you all have a winning weekend.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.